Okay, so first of all, a basic idea of percent. Um, it's a part over 100. Sometimes we say per every 100. So it's a part per 100. And we're going to be using the percent proportion. So sometimes we say x just as a variable over 100. And anytime we have something per 100, we use a percent symbol. So all of these things are equivalent. Part over 100, x over 100, and then just using the symbol. So the first thing we're going to do, I think, is do some conversions. We're going to convert to a percent and a fraction. Okay. So we'll state each value as a percent. And as a fraction. Okay. So let's do some values. Let's do 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm just going to write some numbers of various types with decimals in them. So 16 hundredths, 2 and 19 hundredths, 2 and 2 tenths, and 5 tenths. Okay, and I want to see what you remember. If I want to convert any of these numbers to a percent, how can I do that? How can I do that? Yes.
Well, you can multiply it by 100.
Multiply by 100. Yes, I would multiply by 100, definitely.
Move the decimal 2 spots to the right.
Uh-huh. Multiplying by 100 moves the decimal 2 places to the right. So 16 hundredths becomes 16%. I'm looking for my color, so here we go. Okay, so how would we write that 16% as a fraction? Oh, you know what I'm going to ask next, though? Simplify, yeah. And we can divide numerator and denominator here by 4. So that's going to lead to 4 25ths. And that's it, right? I can't simplify that any further?
No, unless you wanted to do decimals.
Then I'm back where I started from.
Right.
So we'll leave it as 4 25ths. Okay, so let's do the other 3 rather. Same way. I could see some of you are beating me to the punch. So 2.19 becomes 219%, which is also
2 and 19 over 100. No. Wait, wouldn't it be?
No, that
2 and 19 over 100.
No, it'd be 219 over 100.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Basically, remember, this x over 100 is telling me that. So, can I reduce that? I don't think so, right? Okay. I'm going to do the next one. of course, we remember that this empty place value gets to 0, and this is 220%, which is 220 over 100. I could reduce that by what value?
You have to, yeah, I mean,
20.
20?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that gives me what?
11/5.
Mm-hmm. All right. And of course, one we should all know, 0.5 is 50%. Which starts off as 50 over 100. And that gives us 1/2. I'm just going to put down that I divided by 50. Since this is our notes, we want to be complete here. Okay, so we'll be doing conversions backwards and forwards here. Let's go ahead and do the reverse. We're going to convert to a decimal and a fraction. Okay, so next we're going to convert to a decimal and a fraction. And this time we're going to have percents. So we'll do 3 of these. How about that? Number 1, number 2, number 3. We'll do 25%, 8%, and 230%. So essentially, we're doing the reverse. So if we're going from a regular number, decimal number, to a percent, we multiply by 100. Here we would have to do what? Divide by 100. And the net effect there is what happens to our decimal. Like the decimal point is at the end here. They're presumably whole numbers. So it's not going to go to the right 2 places. It's going to go, yeah. So 25% as a decimal is going to be 25 tenths. Hundredths. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put a 0 in the front, 0.25. And we all know that's really 1/4. Okay. I'm going to start off with 25 over 100. But we all know that that should be 1/4 if we divide by 25. It's 1/4. And knowing all of these certain fraction conversions to decimals and percents is going to make our life a lot easier. How about 8%? What is that as a decimal? Yeah, remember. Can't go wrong if you just mentally move over the decimal 2 places. So it's 8 hundredths, 0.08. And we could divide by 4, right? 2/25. Now we're going to move the decimal over 2 places to the left here. And looks like we end up with 2.3 or 2 3/10. And how about as a decimal? I mean, as a fraction.
Do you want it as a mixed number or a fraction?
Well, as just an improper, that'd be 230 over 100. And
We could divide them by 10.
yes, that would cancel out these, right?
Right.
You all remember that trick? Only works when you divide by tens. 23 tens. Let's just leave it that way. All right. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little comparison. Okay, so let's compare using our comparison symbols. Is less than, is greater than, or equal. And the key is we want to convert everything we can to a decimal. I'm going to pause here for a second. Continue. So the key is, at least for me, convert everything to a decimal. And that's pretty much easy enough if I can go ahead and say, okay, this 35% becomes, 35 hundredths or 0.35. How about 9/25ths? We can do
It becomes 0.36.
0.36. How'd you do that?
I just multiplied it by 4.
Yeah, multiplying by 4. So one method is multiplying by 4. Other method is 9 divided by 35. Okay? And either way, you get 0.36. And now it's quite obvious that 9/25 is greater than 35%.
Wait.
Oh.
0.6.
Yeah, I went reverse the numbers.
I mean, it still would be correct.
It would be correct result, wrong method. I just noticed that as you pointed it out. Okay, so let's do a couple more. Number 2. Let's do 48%. We'll compare that to 2/5. And then the last one, 27/48. We'll compare that to 81.16%. Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to convert 48%. Easy peasy. I got 0.48. How about 2/5? 0.40. So I can do that by doing 2 divided by 5, or multiplying both of them by 20, right? Because then I get 40 over 100, or 20 over 100. So this time, 48% is greater. We'll give it the greater than symbol. All right, let's do this last one. 27/48. I don't know about you, but I think the calculator would be easier on this one. What do you think? 0. What did you say? 5?
0.5625.
All right.
Yeah.
And then 1 second. Excellent. I like that. Well, no one from this class got to go home, but I never get to go home.
Oh,
I never get a call from the attendance office and Mr. Contreras, here's mom is here to pick you up for your dentist appointment. Hmm? Hmm. All right. So this is the assignment, guys.